What would you do if the woman who looked you dead in the eye, swore she was loyal, promised you she'd never betray you, turned out to be listed as wife in another man's family group chat? That's not an exaggeration. That's not me being dramatic. That's exactly what happened. And when I tell you the moment I saw that name pop up on the screen, it felt like someone had driven an ice pick straight through my chest. I mean it. People talk about heartbreak like it's just sadness, like you cry a bit, eat some ice cream and move on. But when betrayal hits like that, it's physical. Your hands go cold, your stomach drops, your ears ring. I swear I could feel my pulse in places I didn't know a pulse existed. It started small, as these things always do. She'd been saying all the right words, whenever suspicion crept in, like when she stayed late at work 3 nights in a row, or when her phone buzzed at odd hours, she had the same line ready: I swear I'm loyal, don't you trust me? And every time she said it with that mixture of indignation and hurt that makes you feel guilty for even questioning her. So I'd back off, I'd apologize, I'd tell myself I was paranoid. But something inside me wasn't convinced. You know that gut feeling, the one you try to drown out with logic? Mine was screaming. The discovery came by accident. Her phone was on the kitchen counter, face up. She was in the shower, music blasting, the screen lit up with a notification, WhatsApp, a preview of a group chat. At first I wasn't going to look, I swear I wasn't, but then I saw the group name, Family Vintine, and then the message preview, good night wife, drive safe. I froze. I stared at it so long the screen dimmed. My first thought was, maybe it's a joke, maybe it's her brother teasing, but something about that word, wife, didn't feel like a joke. So I picked it up, I opened the chat, and what I saw nearly made me drop the phone. There she was, her profile picture, her name, and next to it the contact label that wasn't hers but his, wife. Dozens of messages from him, heart emojis, photos of them together, I had never seen before, her in a kitchen I didn't recognize, sitting at a dinner table with people I'd never met, his parents, his siblings, nieces and nephews. She wasn't a guest in their lives, she was woven into it, integrated, loved. I scrolled further, birthday messages to her, happy birthday wife, from his sister, can't wait to see you this weekend, from his mother, photos of her holding his niece like she was already part of the family. And all the while in my world she was saying, we're just stressed, we'll plan our future later, I'm yours, I swear I'm loyal. Do you understand the kind of madness that does to your head? It wasn't just cheating. Cheating is physical. This was something deeper. This was her building a parallel life, a secret identity, where she was his wife, their daughter-in-law, part of a whole family I never even knew existed. I put the phone down. My hands were shaking so bad I nearly dropped it. I walked out to the porch and just sat there, staring at the dark sky, trying to breathe. My brain kept circling the same question. How long? How long had she been living this double life? Was I the side piece, or was he? Or were we both just fools orbiting her little universe of lies? When she came out of the shower, hair wet, humming like nothing was wrong, she kissed me on the cheek and said, movie night? And I looked at her, really looked, and for the first time I saw the cracks in the mask. The little delays when I asked about her day, the quick phone tilts when messages popped up, the way she'd get defensive instead of simply answering questions. It all came rushing together like pieces of a puzzle I should have seen months ago. But I didn't confront her, not then, because if I did she'd twist it. She'd cry, gaslight, make me the villain for snooping. No, I needed more. I needed the whole truth, something so undeniable she couldn't wriggle free. So I started watching, quietly, carefully. I paid attention to the time she said she was at work. I checked the receipts she left crumpled in her bag. Different restaurants, different parts of the city, places I knew she'd never take me because they were too out of the way. I dug deeper into that chat when she left her phone unattended, screenshotting everything to my email, and what I found was worse than I imagined. They weren't just talking, they were planning. Vacations, holidays, a life. One thread had him saying, can't wait until you finally move in. Mom already set aside the guest room for now. And she responded with a string of heart emojis, and soon love, promise. I can't even explain the cocktail of rage, grief and humiliation I felt reading that. While I was paying half the mortgage, fixing the leaking pipes, folding laundry, she was promising another man's family that she'd move in soon, and they called her wife, not girlfriend, not fiancé, wife. That word kept echoing in my head. I'd look at her across the dinner table and think, you're not my wife, you're his. The worst part, she was so convincing. Every night she curled up next to me, every I love you whispered half asleep. It was performance, practice, and I realized she must have been running this dual role for months, maybe years. I didn't sleep that week. I lay awake beside her, staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the times she'd looked me in the eye and said, I swear I'm loyal. And I wondered, did she ever feel guilt? Did she ever flinch? Or was I just that easy to fool? I started planning my move, because when someone betrays you like that, you don't just confront them empty-handed. You don't hand them a chance to spin. You gather, you prepare, you wait for the moment where the mask rips off and everyone sees what you've seen. And that moment was coming. I didn't know how yet. I didn't know when. But I knew one thing. When I was done, she wouldn't just lose me. She'd lose the comfort of her lies. That's where I'll pause. Because the discovery, the moment I realized my loyal wife was someone else's wife in a family group chat, was just the opening act. The real story, the one that left her crumbling, started when I stopped being the trusting fool and became the man who let her own lies tear her world apart. Part 2. The word wife had been burned into my brain like a brand. Every time I looked at her after that, every laugh, every kiss, every I love you, it all sounded like lines from a bad play. She wasn't mine anymore, if she ever had been. She was theirs. His family's wife, his forever. And I had the screenshots, the receipts, the proof sitting in my email like loaded bullets. But betrayal does something strange to you. You'd think the moment you catch someone red-handed you'd explode. You'd scream, rage, smash plates. But I didn't. I went cold, quiet. It wasn't numbness, it was precision. Because anger burns out fast, but silence is terrifying. It lingers, it unsettles. And I wanted her to feel every ounce of that weight before I was done. So I kept living beside her, playing my role like she played hers. She thought I was still in the dark. She'd tilt her phone away from me, claim she was staying late at work, come home smelling like a perfume I didn't recognize. And I'd smile, ask about her day, tuck her hair behind her ear like I hadn't seen the photos of her at his parents' house, helping decorate their Christmas tree, while I spent mine alone. All the while I was building a timeline, screenshots of texts, copies of photos from the family group chat, receipts from dinners, hotel logs, cold, undeniable facts, because when I confronted her, I didn't want there to be an inch of air for her to wriggle through. The confrontation came sooner than I expected. She'd just gotten back from one of her work trips. Small suitcase, fake exhaustion painted on her face, a kiss on my cheek that tasted like someone else's cologne. And as she unpacked in the bedroom, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A notification flashed across the screen. "Good night, wife, Fiend, see you soon." She froze. I froze. We both knew I saw it. Her eyes darted to mine, wide, caught. For a second the mask slipped. Then she grabbed the phone, held it to her chest, and said, "It's not what you think." I laughed. Not a joyful laugh, a hollow, bitter one, that made her flinch. I pulled out my laptop, already queued up with the evidence. I clicked through the screenshots like a slideshow. Wife in the family group chat. Photos of her at his family barbecue, his mother commenting, "So glad you're part of us now," her replying with a heart, her face drained of color. "You went through my phone," she whispered, voice trembling. "You went through my life," I shot back. "You stood in this kitchen, looked me in the eye, and swore you were loyal, while they were calling you wife." Tears welled in her eyes. She tried to spin it. "It's complicated. You've been distant. I didn't mean for this to happen. They don't even really know." I slammed the laptop shut. "Don't insult me. They know more than I do. They know more about my wife than I ever did. You've been living two lives, and the one you chose wasn't with me." She broke then. The tears came hard, messy, desperate. She grabbed my arm, begged me to understand, said she was confused, that she loved us both in different ways. And for the first time in years I felt nothing for her. No pity, no love, just this cold clarity. She was someone else's wife, and I was just the fool she left on pause. I didn't yell, I didn't hit, I didn't even cry. I just stood, walked to the door, opened it and said, "Go to your family, wife." The silence after that was deafening. She hesitated, sobbing, then picked up her bag and left. And with every step she took, the weight on my chest lifted. The fallout spread fast. Her family called, confused. Mine called, furious. Friends who had heard her brag about loyalty suddenly saw the truth when the screenshots made the rounds. Her perfect little double life unraveled thread by thread, until even he, the man whose family called her wife, realized she'd lied to him too. Because if she could cheat with him, she could cheat on him. And she did. As for me, I walked away free, papers filed, keys returned. A house that felt like a graveyard slowly became mine again. And the truth, ugly, heavy, brutal, became my armor. She said, "I swear I'm loyal." But the family group chat said otherwise. And in the end, that single word, wife, didn't just expose her, it set me free. Because sometimes the most devastating revenge isn't destruction, it's survival. It's standing tall while the liar crumbles under the weight of their own fiction. And that's exactly what I did.